Michigan.
Michigan! Okay, you know what?
Can I speak?
What? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm in a situation now, and
Welcome back, everybody, to the Targeting Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Boys, how we doing today?
we're doing fucking wonderful. How you doing?
Dude, I am fucking pumped because it's March Madness. We just got
Yes, sir.
Patriots just signed a fuck ton of guys all in one day. I'm having a good week.
Oh, it's been a great
day.
week.
We're
It's been a
happy,
great week.
boy.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a fun episode. So
it's gonna be a
make sure
great
you like and
episode.
subscribe, boys.
Exactly. It's gonna be a great episode. Tune in for the whole thing because we're gonna get into a lot of fun stuff today. Guys, let's go with Player of the Week. John, let's start with you for this week for Player of the Week.
I'm going to go with Zibanejad because New York Rangers. Who can't say that? I mean, if anyone hasn't seen it, obviously, you look into the NHL that much, but this guy, 3 goals in the second period, right? Not unheard of, but also 3 assists. So he's got 6 points in the second period on a 9-0 win against the Flyers. The Flyers, who are supposed to be,
Which, by the way, that ties an NHL record for most points in a period.
it ties an NHL record, and I think I could be totally wrong, but no, it wasn't Ovechkin. I forget who it was that they said. Might have been
Brian Trottier. It was Brian Trottier.
Okay. Yep. So just unbelievable. The NHL really has been a little bit of a whirlwind at the moment. And we'll probably get into that another week because it's not much to talk about now. But I'm going to definitely go with him. 6 points, the win, obviously. And he's just a leader on that team. I mean, that's just a guy that's going to pull you up out of the weeds for a team like this who's struggling with points. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, that was crazy.
Justin, you want to go with yours this week?
Yeah. So I was between a couple guys. Zibanejad was one of them, but I'm glad you mentioned him. And the other guy is Anthony Edwards. He's not going to be my player of the week because somebody else is just playing too good. But Anthony Edwards has been ridiculous this week. He set a career high 34 at the beginning of the week. Last night, reset a new career high at 42. This guy's been going nuts. He's really playing like a bucket and trying to make a case for maybe stealing Rookie of the Year from LaMelo. He won't do it, but making a case. But my player of the week is James Harden, who, as much as I hate to say it, the Brooklyn Nets are just fucking rolling. And it's not going to be easy to knock them out. Even in some of these games, they've been without Kyrie and KD, and Durant and Harden is doing it on his own.
Harden showed up as the guy. Yeah.
He's had 3 straight triple-doubles. They've won 6 in a row. He's averaging 28, 11, and 13 this week. The guy's nuts. He does everything. He just fills the stat line, and they're winning games. So James Harden for me, and Brooklyn is going to be tough to beat.
Just real quick, Jerry, just before you get yours, I'm going to just repeat what I've said before, and I think we all agreed on this in the past. But if you got rid of Kyrie in that situation, you just kept KD, even with KD injured right now, Harden leading that team, it's still a really, really tough team to beat there, just because he's somehow making it work. I don't even think Kyrie was like the big piece for them. Obviously all those 3 guys there help, but I think Harden's really the guy that's really just.
Kyrie, I've seen some memes that Kyrie left Cleveland to go be the man, and he's like the Alfred to Batman and Robin.
That's perfect. All right, Jerry, who's your player of the week?
All right, yeah. Sorry if I distracted. I'm watching March Madness as we're doing this podcast live. So Florida's up 56-52. So that's good. But anyway, my player of the week was Kristaps. Actually, I don't think Kristaps gets enough love. Okay, so this week, so there's
curious to hear why you think he deserves love. I want to hear this.
Okay, so his last 3 games, Clippers. So his last 3 games were versus the Clippers again, and then Nuggets. So that Nuggets game, he had 25 points, 10 for 15, 5 for 7 from 3. He only had like 6 boards and like 3 blocks, but it was still a pretty good game for him. Okay. Now the Clippers game, that game he had 22 points, 7 boards, and he had like 1 block. All right, and that next Clipper game only had like 11 points, 13 boards though for my man, and 2 blocks. So here's why I don't think we give Kristaps enough love. I think we all remember when he came into the league, like Knicks were just shitting on him, and they never gave him enough respect. And I think even now, like I just don't think we talk about him enough. I just don't think we give him enough love.
I think this is maybe the first week that he's played well enough to even be in consideration for this. But so I agree with you there that he's been playing pretty well as of late. But I don't know. Do you think that he's a good running mate for Luka in the long term as far as them being a big 2? Obviously, in the league we're in now, you kind of need a 3rd star in order to be like a championship contender. But Do you think KP is a good second option for that Dallas team?
I think if he can stay healthy, I do think he's a good second option. I think you need a guy there's not a ton of, guys are starting to learn, like those big guys are starting to, develop their outside game and become more versatile. Like you saw Joel Embiid and stuff like that. But I think KP is one of those guys, and you're going to need one of those guys. And I think if he can stay healthy, I think that can be the running mate for Luka in the future, personally.
It's funny because I think that he is a little bit opposite in the way that a lot of bigs, you want them to learn how to shoot the three and stretch the floor. All that is great. And a lot of bigs are doing that. But I feel like KP does it too much. He settles for so many jumpers, and he's so quick to pull the trigger on the deep, deep threes that sometimes go and sometimes don't. But I'd love to see him do some more work in the post, do some more work in the paint, be a better rim protector, just be a straight. He's 7'3", and he doesn't play any bully ball. So I do like him, though. I think he's one of the best 3-point shooting bigs we have in the league. But I don't know.
I think that
I go back and forth.
That's a good point you made. But I think that is easier to develop in a player, that down low game, than it is for you asking a down low player to build their game out. So that's why I kind of have hope for him, because I feel like that's easier to do just in general, because he's 7'3". Like the height's there, and he's probably got the strength. So to build that game from his outside in, I think it's going to be way easier for him. Whether he does it or not is a completely different discussion. But I think it's easier for him to build that game rather than him trying to build it inside out. So,
I agree.
We'll move on. Point. Can you guys hear me, by the way? I think I might be a little glitchy, but
your lips are just moving and your mouth stop talking without it.
It is a little laggy, but
it's because of my Wi-Fi. That's my bad. But let's move on to Patriots. So big signings. John or Justin, do you want to go over that?
Oh my God!
Sure,
Justin,
I have all of the signings. If you want me to run through them all,
if you want to run through them, but I'm gonna be your immediate reaction, just each one after you say.
Okay.
Give like a quick
This will take about 30 minutes to go through all of them. I'm just kidding. It has been a plethora of signings. I could not be more excited. But we brought back Cam Newton, bring in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith at tight end, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne at wide receiver, Matt Judon, Kyle Van Noy at linebacker, Trent Brown at the offensive tackle, Jalen Mills for safety, Justin Bethel cornerback, Dietrich Wise Jr. for defensive end. We got Davon Godchow for defensive tackle, Henry Anderson and Montravius Adams at the D-line, and David Andrews and Ted Karras back for center.
And did you say Kyle Van Noy? Sorry.
I did say Kyle Van Noy.
Okay,
Kyle Van Noy and Matt Judon playing linebacker. So, obviously, that's a lot to take in, so we can go through it piece by piece. But basically, just incredible job by the Patriots. Absolutely have one free agent.
Can you start at number one? Can you just start on that number one and listen? We'll just work through them because we need to just discuss in depth.
So obviously, so maybe the big thing to talk about is not a new acquisition, but bringing back Cam Newton. He's going to be our guy. No matter how many signs we just made, it's up to Cam. He's the guy that's going to have to go out there and win games.
Let me say this, because I talked to I was talking to someone about this. These signing, like Patriots defense, I think we've pretty much solidified ourselves as, we may not be the best defense, on in the actual game or on paper right there, but in the season, our defense is one of the most stellar that I've seen put together right now. We got Matt Patricia back as well. We have the original Pats defense. We got all the guys, all the pieces coming back. COVID's going to be better. A lot of the guys that took years off are coming back. And let me just explain to all you people out there is that the problem we have now is the offensive game. And we've just brought in, and I'll just name a couple, Nelson Aguilar, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. We were lacking in the tight end position, the wide receiver position. We've gotten so many acquisitions. We've lost some guys, injuries, riddling so many of our guys, and Keneal Harry not performing at a level and then getting injured. All these things have screwed us. And I'm not going to put it all on Cam, but Cam at this point is the leader. So I am going to say to Cam, I'm not thrilled with having you sign back, but seeing how much Belichick clearly believes in you, because he wouldn't keep you and sign you back for a year and sign all these people to free agency if he didn't believe in you. You need to step up. You need to be a fucking leader. You need to throw the ball. No more running the shit. You run when you're pressured. You don't run just for fun. You run for tricks, shit like that. But you need to throw the ball. We're a passing team now at this point.
John, do you think he can get there?
I'll say this. Cam had the MVP season before. He made it to the Super Bowl before. He's shown that he can be I'm not going to say he's a great quarterback. He's never going to be a Tom Brady. He's never going to be maybe the Kyler Murray. But I think Cam is a good quarterback, but good quarterbacks can still do shit. I mean, we've seen that before. Good quarterbacks still can make it to the playoffs, and it's a team game. It's not Tom Brady leading a whole team to the playoffs. The team has to work with him as well. And I think that it's just going to be kind of like, I'm not going to compare to the Tom Brady situation, but I think Cam needs to feel out this team. And I didn't expect his first season to be great. And I would prefer, obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo, someone else. But at this point, we've given up a lot. We've gotten a lot of acquisitions. I would have rather brought in all these guys than just Jimmy G, because I think we need to build a core around, if we're gonna have a team that's gonna win, we need to build the core like Belichick does it. You bring in all the free agents, you build it around a QB, and I will say if Cam can't get it done this season, I'm very, very, I don't want to just give up on him, because we have all these guys, but Belichick's system is he brings in free agents for a year, maybe 2, and then they're gone. You don't keep these guys for very long. So Cam is not staying more than 2 more years. He's only signed for a year. So I say if I give him this year, and if he can't at least make the playoffs, if he makes the playoffs,
if we don't make the playoffs, he's done.
He's done. But if he makes the playoffs and you can do something, then I'd bring him back for 1 more year, do a couple more signings, and give him 1 more chance. But if he just keeps making the playoffs or just being meager, the Pats dynasty is not about mediocrity and averageness. We're about fucking winning and getting that title. That's why we're title town.
Yeah. I think you brought up a good point in the fact that if clearly the way Bill believes in him, we wouldn't have brought him back if they didn't have faith that he could do it. So I mean, and look, we were 7-9 last year, and Cam missed a couple games with COVID. Like, it's not like we were super far away from being a playoff team. We were right there in the hunt, right there in the bubble on the doorstep. So I definitely think, and now we are a much, much, much better team than we were last year as far as roster on paper. I think this absolutely needs to be a playoff year with this talented roster now. And if it's not, it definitely is a bust. And Cam Newton definitely needs to be done. But I mean, bringing in, we had no tight ends, literally none last year. And we just, the 2 top tight ends in free agency, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, we got them both. So incredible job
and you
there.
Bring
in the deep threat. We needed a deep threat at the wideout. We brought in Nelson Aguilar. We also bring in Kendrick Bourne from San Francisco, who was their second leading receiver behind Brandon Ayuk. We've done some good things. We'll have Hightower back along there now. Hightower and Matt Judon with Kyle Van Noy as a linebacker coming out of quarterback. I'm sorry, that is scary as fuck. We brought in Jalen Mills and Justin Bethel to play in the secondary. I mean, it's an incredible lineup now, and we also will have Julian Edelman back. We'll still have Jacoby Myers, Demir Bird. We'll have N'Keal Harry. Like, this is a team. We still have James White, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead. This is a team that needs to make the playoffs. And Cam Newton, if he plays the same way he did last year, he needs to be better. Period. He needs to throw the ball better. He needs to have a head on his shoulders. He needs to be better. And if he can be better, then we definitely should be a playoff team. And I'm excited about where this team can go.
It's at a point, and I'm going to say something because you mentioned somebody there that I have to bring up. Just because it's in the air, but there comes a point when you build a team around a QB, and if Cam can't make the playoffs this season, it's not because of COVID. It's not because you don't have all the pieces there. It's clearly a Cam Newton situation. It's clearly Cam needs to just hang up the cleats and leave, stop the game, because and Jerry, you're probably going to say something, but I want to give him a chance. But after this season, if he can't do it, I would want to put all the money, no matter how much it costs, on getting the Deshaun Watson, getting the Jimmy G, getting someone who's going to be there for a longer time. We can't fuck around with just signing a guy for a couple of years here and there, and just that's not how it works in Patriots place,
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but
I can. Yep.
I just think that I thought they could have made the playoffs last season. Like,
we were close.
We lost a lot of games, and I was like, we could have won that. And then if we won those games, then it's kind of like a different scenario. So I'm expecting this team to make the playoffs. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if they can beat the Chiefs, but I'm expecting them to make a run.
Last season, we almost beat the Chiefs, Jerry. We almost beat the Ravens. We almost beat the Bills. All these teams we almost beat. And I know almost isn't on paper, but look at the games. Watch the games.
The thing I'm saying is we have just such a great defense this season, considering everyone's healthy. it's hard to believe that this defense will give up a lot of points in one game. So it really is just up to the offense to score. And it's whether I don't mind signing Cam back. I question it a little bit. I was looking for another QB, a change of face, but I don't know.
But also, we have the offensive coordinators. We have the literal coaching staff that was the peak of the Patriots.
So that's another thing. You have Patricia back, so you have that defense with Patricia. So the defense is set. Defense is ready to go.
It's just all the McDaniels and Cam to just work it out.
It's really just the offense that I'm.
And honestly, I think,
and I'm glad you brought up McDaniels too, because as sus as Cam was it sometimes with his which is throwing him at the ankles. McDaniels had some very sus play calls that I was very upset with in clutch moments inside the red zone. Like it really, he made some bad errors. So we do need McDaniels. I think
I'm gonna say I have two quick things, or I have a couple things, but real quick, I think that you should give Cam the priority of making calls. I'm gonna say that. I think if you want to have a good season. I think no. Listen here, because here's the problem, and this is the problem that happened with Tom, and it happened with what's his face, and Bruce Arians, is one guy called something, and Tom said, "Look, I call my, I run this offense. You can give me a suggestion, but I know what works in this scenario." Now, I'm not saying you let Cam call everything, but I'm saying that if there's an issue on the field, you can't, have the offensive coordinator and the QB butting heads, which they did a lot. You can't have Cam and Josh McDaniels arguing. Now, I prioritize Josh McDaniels, but, if you want to have a guy like Cam lead your team, you can't just negate anything that he has, any choice he wants to run, because that's not how you run that offense.
Yeah, and Cam is the type of personality where if we're going to do it, we brought him back. We're going to run it with him. If we're going to do it, we might as well do it right.
Give him a choice.
Give him the keys.
Give him the keys.
But, I think on some level, I do agree with you there, and I think that's a great point. We do need to let him run the offense the way he wants to run it. But every single time we get inside the 5, calling his own number and running it himself.
That's not the offense. That's not the offense. I don't want the offense where Cam does the. I'm not looking at the offense where Cam does the Superman into the end zone, trying to dolphin dive it like he did with the Panthers. That's not the offense we run. We run the offense of Garrett Blount or our running back running up the gut. We do the fake pass. That's not what we don't do the Superman, and that's not what I want.
So we'll see what ends up happening with him.
The other thing I gotta say is,
you go ahead.
I was just going to say quickly, I think that our defense is going to have the 2018 season they had before, which I think is the one where we had like the block punt, the like 3 or 4 return touchdowns for, pick 6. We're going to have that type of defense, but our defense can't lead our offense is what I'm trying to get at.
But the offense, this is what I'm saying. The offense is going to decide the fate of our season. I think we could make a Super Bowl with that defense.
The offense needs to just
the offense, not necessarily. So,
but hey, we got Trent Williams back. We got our offensive. We got the same guy we brought back on the offensive line. We got a lot of guys that we've had before on our team. We got some new guys.
Back David Edwards to play center. Our O line Cam will be protected, and he'll have weapons on both sides of him, to the left and the right. And we might, like Jerry just said, I have the best defense in the league. We have the best special teams in the league. It's literally Cam Newton is the guy. He's it.
Let me say one thing that Justin said earlier is I heard, and again, it may be just rumors and I may be completely false, but I don't know if it's James White who's in free agency right now or if he's a free agent. But Tom Brady but I don't know. So again, I may be completely wrong, but I know that somebody on the Pats may have been a free agent or will be a free agent soon, in the coming years. And Tom Brady has expressed interest in taking that player to his team in the Bucs. And I think it was James White, or he's talked to James White about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying James White is going to leave, but I am saying that if we're going to do something, we need to show James White or these players that Tom clearly wants why they want to stay in Patriot Place. Because Tom can clearly already has proven he can take anybody he wants, because he's proven that him and Bill, it was not just him and Bill. He did a lot there, and that he can do it without Bill. And any player is going to say, hey, if Bill can't do it for me, I'm going to go to fucking Tom Brady, who's won 7 fucking rings, and he's going to do it for an 8.
Do you remember The Office where Michael was talking, I believe it was Karen, and you say, stop poaching our people. That's literally Tom.
That's literally Tom.
Tom just keeps getting all the people that he has won past.
I will not be surprised if Kyle Vanoy or any of them in the next coming seasons after their deals, if the Patriots suck, if they're going to go.
The Bucs keep winning,
low money.
The Bucs keep winning, but let's move on. because I do want to talk
I guess
about
my last question about the Patriots to you guys is
sure.
how good. I've seen some memes about like if you weren't even after all the signings you've made, if you weren't with us at 7-9, don't be with us at 8-8, like shit like that. So I'm like just because it is Cam Newton still, like, so my question to you is, how good can the Patriots be?
I'll give you my prediction right now, and Jerry can go next if he wants. But on paper, with the way the defense is going to run, like I think 2018 and the old Matt Patricia, I think on paper with that defense, and if our offense plays obviously at the level of like the offense that if you look at it on paper, right, you look at that roster, you look at that setup. On paper, I think it's at least an 11-5 team. It should go 13-3. But I'll say this, because it's Cam Newton, I will not be surprised if we end up going, 10-6 at the very best. And, that's not a huge difference, but I'm saying that it's up to Cam because Cam is the variable here that he can make us go from 10-6 to 13-3 if he puts in the offensive work. Because our defense can't win those few games that we lose in there all on their own. They can hold that team to no points, but at some point, they're just going to keep kicking field goals. And if Cam can't get down the field, and if he keeps trying to go for it and running the ball himself, and we lose a touchdown opportunity and we miss a field goal opportunity, we're screwed. Because I don't trust our kicker to just, make the field goals every fucking time because Folk is getting old. And plus, I wouldn't even want a kicker kicking us points. I want to score. I want to go out there and I want to actually try. I want a fourth down attempt. I want to be the ballsy team that's going to go for it like Tom did on the third down conversions half the time. Tom went for it. Tom won the Super Bowl. He did it because he didn't fucking give a shit anymore. He put his ass on the line and he won the Super Bowl because he knew his time's almost up. And I'm honestly going to say, Cam's time's almost up. Cam is not going to be in the league for that much longer, period. No matter how old no matter how good he is right now, he is not at the level where he's going to keep playing like a Tom Brady. It's period. We all know that.
Yeah, it's quick. I want to hear Justin's thoughts, but quickly to add, I think the fate of our team lies in Cam Newton's hands. And me not trusting Cam Newton 100%, I say we go like 11-5 at worst. At worst, I think we split. I don't think there's a way we can get below 500 with this defense. Personally, I think if you put because I think Cam Newton's capable sometimes, but I don't think he's capable 100%. So I say at worst, probably split. More realistic, I think it's like 11-5, 10-6. This team can be 13-3 or 14-2, but
it could.
I just don't think with Cam Newton they can.
I'm going to just say to the memes, I don't think it's going to be an 8-8 team. I mean, knock on wood, obviously. I'm going to knock right now because it could be. But the problem there is it's only going to be an 8-8 team if Cam literally sucks and misses games because there's no reason why we shouldn't win 10 of the games that we have on our schedule with the defense we have and the offensive pieces. Even if we skate by winning just like 21-14 just by a score, I'm not saying we're going to have blowouts, but again, it comes down to it. Like, the Seahawks game, the Chiefs game, like these fucking games, we can't be losing just by a score or just getting blown out in the second half. That's just
I think when push comes to shove, I don't know if Cam can pass the ball at the ability we need him to. That's plain.
If he can do short routes, I'm fine with it. If he can just get the first downs, then fine. But Justin,
I expect? No, I think you all hit it right on the head. All the points that I had in mind too, and I think 11-5 or 10-6 is probably exactly where we'll end up being. But
and I'd be happy.
Sure, you can lead us into the next thing. But
I just want to talk about the Bills signed Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep.
Sucks for him, basically the end of his career.
My question is why? Like why? Like Josh Allen's there. He's the guy. You had a starting position. Were they looking to rotate him? And that's like
they also signed Emmanuel Sanders. So I think what the Bills are trying to do is they know that they could be a team they've progressively gotten better. Like, their trend has been upwards over the last couple seasons, right? And they're at a point, I think, where they have the right offense and the right management system going where they can win. They're going to be our toughest competition in our division now.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are not even going to be that bad either. They just signed Will Fuller, which I think is a great pickup for them. So right now, we're going to have 3 teams that we're competing with, not 2 anymore. It used to change between the Dolphins and the Bills each season, but now we're going to have 3 teams. So that's the big problem for us. And now going into the Bills situation, I think what they're trying to anticipate is they want to be ready because I think they saw that the level that they're going to play at with Josh Allen and the way he was running the ball sometimes out of that pocket to get out of pressure. I think they're anticipating that they won't be surprised if he's just going to get lit the fuck up or if something's going to go wrong for them in their season because, that's really all that could hurt them in the future is that something screws them up and stops them right in the middle. And I'm not saying Mitchell Trubisky is the best option, but I'm saying I think that I would rather have someone there than some no-name, someone that wouldn't be able to provide. And I think that I think it's a safe pickup for them. I don't think they're losing or gaining much. I think it's kind of something where it's very neutral. They have him in the backfield. Maybe he'll learn something. I think it honestly will help Mitchell in the end, hopefully.
I think that's what the biggest thing is that Mitchell Trubisky probably could have gotten a contract elsewhere, maybe the Redskins or the football team, or somewhere else that needed a quarterback. But he maybe took it upon himself to say, all right, look, I could do a year in Buffalo, maybe get a ring. Who knows what ends up happening? They're going to be really good. But it's only a 1-year deal. He's going to sit behind Josh Allen for a year, who could really teach him a lot, I think, and that'll be the best thing. But I don't think it's anything that the Bills are trying to plan around. Like, it's not going to help them win more games. He's going to be sitting on the bench. He's just going to be a backup. And if Josh Allen is healthy, Josh Allen will play all 16 games. So there's no reason that Mitchell Trubisky will impact winning on this Buffalo team. I don't think. It's really just, I think, a mentorship thing, and it could help him out. Maybe a year from now, we see him go sign a bigger deal somewhere else. Maybe he does play. Maybe Josh Allen does go down and gets to start a game or two and plays well and gets a better contract next year. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't think that's too big. Bringing in Emmanuel Sanders is nice for them because they did lose John Brown, who ended up on the Raiders. Some other big. Too. The Raiders have picked up some pieces. They look pretty good. The Washington football. Actually, before you go there, I'll say the AJ Green to Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals still just continue to load up. So,
I've always wanted Green and D-Hop to be on the same team. I've literally, multiple times have said the Cincinnati move, if he went over to Houston, that would work so well if they had given the right pieces. And I think now this is going to work for the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, Arizona continues to put things together. Kenyon Drake left. He's now going to the Raiders. So, as we just mentioned, the Raiders have gotten better.
And Ravens
also, Patrick Peterson is also gone as well. So, I'll say but I think even with those losses, the Cardinals, I said it in our episode about the Cardinals 2 weeks ago, but the Cardinals are going to be good, man. I think the Cardinals are going to make a run and they continue to load up here their offense with AJ Green. But I like the Cardinals here, man.
I like the Cardinals right now. There's been a lot of moves at the moment with quarterbacks and situations, but one thing that surprised me, or a couple of things that surprised me, obviously no surprise though, is the Bucs signing of practically everyone back. Tom, Gronk, Shaquille Barrett. Signing practically everybody, Lavonte David. They're making sure everyone's going to be franchise signed. Godwin, no surprise. With the Super Bowl, the team worked. Something that surprised me and that kind of hurts. Joe Thuney over to the Chiefs. Guy is a very, very that was for a lineman, very mobile. He was a very mobile guard for us, a lineman. So he would on the run be very versatile.
Not surprised though. Chiefs needed a line.
No surprise because they need us. Yeah, I mean, it just showed that game, the defense the defense against them. They need to protect.
They lost Eric Fisher too,
and they lost Eric Fisher, and they want a younger guy than there. And I'm not surprised.
So I'll tell you, I'm glad we brought in Trent Brown after losing Joe Thuney.
100%. We needed
that was big.
But something else that surprised me is the Ravens just they lose to the Pats. I mean, they lost. Who was it last season? Their safety, not their safety. Their special teams. God, I'm going to forget his name. But you know who I'm talking about, right? When we got that special teams player.
We lost him or got him?
We got him from the Ravens last season. I'm going to have to search him up in a second. But now the Pats get Matthew Judon. Great defensive player there. And they lose also. I mean, we didn't gain him, but the Raiders did. But Yannick, I'm going to butcher his name. But
I couldn't tell you his last name. But
but whatever. But the Ravens seem to just be.
Oh, you talking about Bethel, John?
Yeah, Bethel.
Bethel. Yeah, we re-signed him too, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, so I just feel like, and again, I'm not saying these guys are, stellar players, but the Ravens last season just showed that, their strong defensive game is what kept them alive. When Lamar was fumbling and Lamar was just, not playing his game, and against teams like the Titans that are, equal competition for them at this point now with the level of the team that they have, they've kind of fallen below the Chiefs. And I don't think, my question to you guys is, do you think they're just trying to rebuild a younger core, or what do you think they're doing? Because I don't know what the Ravens are trying to do, because right now the defense, I think they're just the guys that they've given up this year, these two guys, I don't know who they've got. They haven't signed anybody, so I don't know who they're trying to get in there.
Yeah, and they haven't made any moves to bolster their offense either.
They didn't get J.J. Watt. They
doing.
Didn't get anybody on the pass rush. I mean,
that the biggest thing with that, I feel like the biggest thing with that team was, you're right, they were defensive heavy, and they have lost a number of defensive pieces now. But the offense had lacked weapons badly, and they haven't done anything to bolster the offense. So I don't know what the Ravens are going to be next year.
I don't
think they're going to be great. Brown signing have been, but no, the Raiders, that you wait too long, and the Raiders,
I don't really know what their track is. I think they're trying to figure out where their place is in this like league, because I don't think they think like. Do you think Lamar Jackson is a Super Bowl QB?
I've talked about him before and saying that I definitely don't. And I don't even think he'll be a starting QB 5 years from now. I've mentioned that before.
I say, and maybe a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, and you know, a lot of people are going to disagree, but I personally think that Lamar Jackson's career is going to be very similar to Cam Newton. He had one MVP season, and maybe he'll have another one. He'll maybe have more than Cam Newton did. But he's basically going to have the one shining moment where he somehow makes the Super Bowl. I'm not saying he will, but he'll make the conference championship. He might win, but he is ultimately going to probably never be the starting QB for the Ravens in a little while. Like Justin said, I agreed with him. At least if I didn't then, I agree now. And he'll probably sign with another team, and he'll probably do what exactly Cam Newton's trying to do. He'll get signed to 1-year deals each year, trying to win and come back. But I think if the Ravens really wanted to, I'm not saying they don't want to keep him, but why are you getting rid of defensive? I know they're free agents, but you definitely have the money. I mean, don't tell me you don't have the money, because the team you have, you're not paying anybody that much, and you already lost like 3 of your tight ends over the last couple of restricted seasons. I mean, lost Boyle to the fucking Atlanta, and they had the stellar season. They had the Chiefs season that the Chiefs also had their season, and they kind of just lost everybody. The Chiefs signed Mahomes, and they've given big money to keep the team together.
I just think they're trying to figure out where they're at. Like, I don't know if they have a direction that they feel
like. Got to figure it out soon.
They do, but I just think that's why they're like not making many moves, or at least why I can justify it. But yeah, the only thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the other crazy thing is I was gonna mention Tyrod Taylor after, but you can finish your statement.
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna mention for the rest of free agency was Juju's back with the Steelers, and Will Fuller's headed to the Dolphins. So
yeah, but happy for Will Fuller. I actually didn't see the price tag on that Will Fuller signing, but I hope it's work. I hope he's getting paid, because he deserves it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He does deserve it, and I think another thing that's crazy for me is I just mentioned the Tyrod Taylor. Bud Dupree left Steelers, which is a little interesting for me, but we saw some below average quarterbacks: Tyrod Taylor to Houston, Andy Dalton to Chicago. Well, let's talk about that now.
Ryan Fitzpatrick to Washington.
The comments on Deshaun Watson is he's our QB. Well, you signed Tyrod Taylor now.
They're preparing for him to leave.
But do you think you settle for Tyrod Taylor? That's your best. I mean, you had Jameis Winston in there. They could have probably given him enough money to get him to stay.
I think you're a rebuild at this point.
Yeah,
you lost Will Fuller. You're not getting
Tyrod Taylor is another Cam Newton situation for me. He doesn't even have an MVP season. I don't think he's just a very mediocre.
I think Tyrod's a guy you build around to get another QB. He's not the QB. I don't know.
Definitely not. Yeah, that's the guy. And you don't even want to bring in somebody better, because at that point, like you said, it's a rebuild. So you want to just tank. You don't want to be winning games.
Yeah. You don't want to be winning games. Yeah. So yeah.
I was gonna say last two things is another thing. Chiefs are really trying to solidify that O-line. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, they got rid of Eric Fisher, older guy, probably just want done with him, especially with the injury. They got Kyle Long now. Very, very good offensive line right now with Kyle Long, Joe Thuney, and the other guys they have that they're coming back with. Jamal Williams leaves the Green Bay area.
He's going to Detroit, right?
Kind of surprised there.
I guess the other team that made a string of signings would be the Washington football team, who in that they are by far in the worst division in the league. So you never know. Maybe they could get them together. And they got Fitzmagic playing Q now for them. They brought in William Jackson, and they brought in Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel was a big signing. They gave him a multi-year deal, and I'm surprised Curtis Samuel ended up in Washington. So we'll see what they can end up being.
NFL will be interesting next year. I'm very excited.
100%. And I think Jacoby Brissett too in the Dolphins area. That's a change now. We're gonna have a guy to compete against in our division. So
I'm very excited for the NFL next year.
It's going to be a great year.
I
I'm
like
excited
these
too.
moves. I like a lot of these moves, and I think this free agency has been one of the better.
It's been an exciting free agency, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Agreed.
But let's I think that's really the big things. Other ones are just smaller names, but let's just transition right into NCAA while Jerry's looking up out of the screen.
I'm sorry, the game's going.
How'd that game end?
It's so all right. So did you see me move? So Virginia
Tech, they're in OT right now, right?
They're in OT, yeah. Florida was up 3, and then Virginia Tech just hit a tie. They hit a 3 to
tie.
Yeah, and then
how much time?
That was like there were like a second left. So then they went into OT. So now it's 69-66, like under 3 minutes. But
oh damn.
But yeah,
I got Florida in my bracket, so hopefully they can pull it out.
Yeah, so let's get it. I'm excited for this bracket stuff, boys. I'm excited to hear your predictions. So we're not going over the whole round of 64 because that would be insane. But
we'll go over all of the stuff when we start riddling down to the last 8 kind of.
But let's first go with Final Four predictions. So does anyone want to start, or do you want me to?
I will.
You can go ahead and start, Jerry.
You can start. Start us off. I want to hear what you have to say.
So right now, so in the West, I got Gonzaga. They're undefeated right now, so I think I'm always skeptical with undefeated teams because I feel like they never perform like they have, and we've seen undefeated teams lose in the tournament. So I'm a little sketchy about that. But
Gonzaga's done that before.
But they're
number one.
Yeah, but they're a good team, so I'm going to keep them. Justin ain't going to like this one, but for the East, I got Michigan. Michigan doesn't have one of their best players right now. Everyone thinks they're overrated, which is what we'll get into later. But so I got Michigan, and then for the Midwest, I got Oklahoma State because of my boy Cade. So I really think that Cade can shine in this tournament, and I believe in him. And then Ohio State for the South, which I know is not the same as Justin's. But Justin, do you want to go next on your?
I can honestly go. All
right, John, go. Yeah.
I was just gonna say. Now, when I'm looking at these, obviously I think Gonzaga. I'm obviously starting West as well.
Yep.
Gonzaga. I every year have a bracket for them. I want them to proceed forward. Iowa doesn't look that bad either, though. They've honestly had, but I think Gonzaga is going to be the one that I hope the one undefeated team that can actually probably just proceed forward. I'm not going to go with Michigan because I'm not a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan State fan, and Michigan State didn't even make it, so I'm pissed about that one.
Michigan State didn't make it, yeah. Okay.
And I don't really want to go with Alabama, but Alabama just cooked Kentucky too when I saw that. And Alabama's just been cooking teams. And I don't want to say Alabama. I would rather say like Florida State, but I think I'm just going to go with Alabama just because I've seen a couple of their games, and I don't think they're going to win, but I think that this division they might just absolutely cook it apart. That's just me though.
Yeah.
Next one, I mean, obviously Midwest, kind of tough looking at the Illinois team here.
Yeah.
But I'm a Cade Cunningham fan as well. We've had him here on this pod multiple times. It'd be a disrespect not to see OSU proceed forward. So I'm going to go with OSU. Want the 4 seed in there. And for the South, oh, fuck. I mean,
I hated the South this year. I was like, wow.
The South, I think one of my little upsets is going to be in the South. But I think I'm actually going to go with Baylor, the team that kind of gave OSU the heat this season.
Yeah.
Made OSU kind of lose a couple games and made Cade Cunningham kind of perform better. And again, I don't like putting 1 seeds in there just because it feels like, you're just saying 1 seed. But Baylor has had that season like Gonzaga where So I'm gonna go with Baylor there.
All right. That's solid. Justin, what about you, Justin?
Yeah, so I'll go through it the same way you guys. I'll take Gonzaga because they're undefeated, and I do think they're really good. I think Jalen Suggs is a really great player, and he's their 3rd leading scorer. So they have a couple of white big men that have been playing really well, and they shoot the lights out. So they are. I think Gonzaga definitely is going to make a run and will be there, sitting there in the Final Four. They also have a fairly easy. No, I won't say that actually. They don't have an easy bracket. They don't have an easy bracket because they got UVA, they got Iowa, they have some good teams in there. But and then the East, I'll go with I don't think Michigan is good, and we'll get into that later when we pick our overrated teams. But I'll go with Texas coming out of the South or the East rather, or the East. They got a lot of great players. They got Andrew
I got a
Jones,
question
Courtney
for you.
Ramby, Greg Brown. I like the way their team is constructed, and they were really rolling at the beginning of the year. They were undefeated for a while too, and then they did lose a couple, but they're really rolling in the way they can play basketball and share the rock. I like the way they play. John, were you about to say something?
I just had a quick question for you, because I'm the East is a tough one for me as well, but just a quick question before you move on. Do you think Alabama could be in the situation where they're the one that gets upset? You think that could be a situation here? Because I'm just looking at it. I just feel like that could potentially be a possibility there. That's why I'm scared of that choice I made.
Yeah, I do. I think Alabama could. I mean, they're going to have to go through the winner of UConn and Maryland in the second round, and then the third round they'll be playing the 3-seed Texas. So we'll have a 2-seed versus 3-seed, assuming they both reach there. And that's going to be a hell of a game. Texas could beat them there, or Alabama could win. They're both great teams, so we'll see what happens there. But South,
All right, it's just one.
I'll go. I'm definitely taking Baylor in the South because I think Baylor's the best team in the tournament.
Thank you.
The way that they move the ball and shoot threes. That's exactly the formula for winning college basketball games and winning in March Madness. So I think they might be the best team in the bracket this year. And then the Midwest. I really love Cade Cunningham and I love OSU, but you guys both showed the love to him, and I love that. I do have a separate bracket that's not my series bracket with them winning it just in case, because I think Cade definitely could go off, but I got to go with Illinois. Illinois has been rolling all year. They got Ao Dosmanu, or I believe that's how you pronounce it, but I could be wrong. I apologize if I am. But the kid's dirty. He's not even alone. They have a great team. They've been really rolling all year, so I'm gonna take Illinois.
No, I agree with that.
Which, by the way, they're up 30 in their round one game right now.
So let's just say right now, looking at our Final Fours here, who do you think is coming out into the championship of your 2 rounds? Let's just say that real quick.
I got Baylor and Gonzaga in the championship, and then Baylor winning it.
I got Oklahoma State, Michigan winning it.
Wow! All right, what a absolute bandwagon on that. Just every single fucking year, Michigan.
Okay, you know what?
Can I speak?
What? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm in a situation now, and Justin, I hate how you put me in this situation because Baylor and Gonzaga have been choices for my brackets year in and year out. I've always made 2 brackets, and it's always been Baylor and Gonzaga, and you can go back and look at them. And they're having these seasons now, and I don't like having 1 seeds being the option here.
I feel boring saying that, but I'm just being honest.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say on paper, Baylor, Gonzaga, and really it's a toss-up for me which one's going to win. I'll probably lean to Baylor though because they're having that season, and I don't think Gonzaga's had the point where they're just gonna, they haven't had the upset and the losses where they're gonna, But I honestly am really hoping for an OSU win. That's just me, like OSU Gonzaga and OSU wins. So in that area, I'm leaning with Jerry, but I think Baylor is really it is the best team right now in the whole tournament. And Justin, you were right. But we have the 1 seeds here in this tournament are very powerful teams, but I don't think everyone's going to make it.
Yeah. I on that note, we might as well get into our next category here of overrated, because you mentioned the 1 seeds are all very powerful. Yeah, 3 of the 4. Because 3 of the 4. Michigan 8, and they're my overrated team. So I'll go ahead and throw that out there, especially because they're without their best player.
John, what's your overrated?
You guys can go on next.
What's your overrated?
Well, let's see. I could go with Virginia, or I could go with Michigan.
So yeah, no. I'm actually. So you got everyone from my from my college gonna hand me this. I think Virginia's overrated, bro.
I was gonna go with Virginia. I'm sorry.
Here's why.
You guys almost ended up losing. You almost didn't even make it.
I think they didn't lose. Whoa.
They didn't. No. You won. I said you guys had a tough game against. You guys had a tough game against Syracuse. You guys ended up winning that.
So we had a tough game against Syracuse. I'm surprised we're as good as the season as is, just because coming in, a lot of the guys are just younger. Like they're not because a lot of them just went to the league. Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, D. Kite, all of them. So it's a younger team. We're still playing well in the ACC, but if you guys know, ACC. Not that good this year. Like Duke's not in it. UNC's 8, and preferably I think that's high. Like it's just not a great.
Is Kentucky in ACC? Sorry, I always forget.
No, SEC, and we're out of it.
Yeah. So not a great ACC. And I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about this year. So I'm gonna say overrated. That's my overrated team. Could they make a run?
Tough, bro.
But I I think it's
Picking your own school as an overrated pick, man. That's tough.
I was gonna actually. I mean, I'm surprised Jerry actually went with Virginia. That was gonna be kind of my hot one on there, but I think
the reason being is because you look at Virginia, and first of all, they got such a hard road. Like arguably one of the hardest roads.
They're gonna have to play Gonzaga.
They're gonna have to play Gonzaga. They're gonna have to play a great number of teams, and I just think they got a very hard road. And the team looks good at times, but sometimes
it's not the number one seed Virginia we saw in the past. Basically.
It's not the powerhouse team. Like that Kyle Guy team, Ty Jerome, like that was a team I could get behind because I was like, all right, those guys are solid. They play good night in, night out. Yeah, I don't like picking my own school as overrated, but
yeah, you mentioned Diakite also left. Is he in the NBA? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, Hog. No, don't call me on that. I thought the Hog.
Yeah, no,
I don't know about that. But I will say, I hate shitting on Jerry with the two teams that he loves absolutely so much. But I think you both bring up good points. I mean, Michigan obviously missing the piece, and Virginia.
Bucks. Sorry, Bucks.
Oh wow, good for him.
You guys bring up both good points. I think those two on that side of the bracket, certainly it's going to be interesting. I won't be surprised if that's the.
Yeah.
So with that,
so let's go to underrated. So who in this tournament do you believe is underrated?
So is this different from the Cinderella story?
This is different for the Cinderella story because this team can be a high seed. They're just not projected to go as far. And for my underrated, I'm going to do Michigan because no one gives Michigan the love that they deserve year in and year out. I was there when Poole hit the game winner against Houston. I was on the phone with these two guys, and both of them were like, "You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose." And we won. So I believe in this team. I believe in Juan Howard. I believe they can go far. So that's my underrated team. John, Justin, do you have an underrated team?
I'll let Justin go first. I'm trying to think.
I know we've talked. I don't want to be beating a dead horse because we have mentioned it a lot, but we can't think of this a underrated team and not bring up Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I really do. I feel like I should pick something else, but I guess I
was going to say that too, but yeah.
I will just go Oklahoma State because I do think that, like we've all mentioned it, Cade Cunningham is the best player in the tournament individually. And Oklahoma State, it's not like he's playing hero ball every night. They have a good roster. They've won a lot of big games against big teams this year so far. So I think Cade could go nuts. And I definitely think OK State could make a run. So we'll see what happens there.
John, do you got one, or do you want to just go?
Yeah, I'm between two, and they're both from the Midwest. For underrated, I think I'm going to go with underrated. I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to save the other one for like the Cinderella, but I'm going to say Syracuse. Honestly, Syracuse had a season where they honestly, I'm surprised they're an 11 seed. I mean, they just lost to you guys barely, and they got a low seed. And they've been in this situation, but they've made what? They made the Sweet 16. They've gone even farther than that before recent years. They don't have a bad team, and I think they'll beat the San Diego State. Honestly, it's one of those 6-11 games where like it's not a 6-11. It's more of like an 8-9. Not even. It's like that team should be much higher. So I think I'm going to go with Syracuse on my underrated.
Yeah, the only other one I would mention too, just to be a little bit more original, is West Virginia. I think could make a run.
Damn it! Why would you?
Oh, son of a bitch! Sorry.
That was no. Keep going. Let's transition into it. Transition into it.
That's my bad. So we can run into Cinderella story, John. I'll let you talk about them then. You go ahead and talk about them then, John.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know.
A different Cinderella team.
West Virginia seems a little high for me, and I'm not going to be surprised if they lose to Morehead State. I'm honestly going to be honest with you. I just think West Virginia, I don't know. I don't know if they're a 3 seed. And I'm not saying that they could lose. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to Morehead State. But I also think like West Virginia is one of those teams right now where it's like they're either going to make it to the Sweet 16 or they're absolutely going to lose right now in this round. Because I think it's one of those teams, like it's a 3-14, but it's kind of like the situation we had with I don't even remember. But I don't know. Like I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm not saying Morehead could make like a run, but I don't know. It's area where I'm like, it's a 3-14. I just don't think the 3 seed could pull it off.
Justin, who do you?
Oh, okay. So I was feeling the opposite. I think West Virginia is really good, and I feel like they could make it run.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
my Cinderella story, I guess, will be it's going to be LSU for me. LSU, they got Cameron Thomas, who's averaging 23 points per game. And at the end of the day, not a lot of teams in this bracket can say they have a 23 point per game scorer. Yep. So I think Cameron Thomas can definitely carry put the backpack on and put this LSU team on a run. And it's not like it's not like he's playing by himself. They have a lot of other great players. They got a couple other guys averaging over 15, 16 points per game. They have a good deep roster. I think LSU can make a run. And my big upset in my bracket is in the second round when LSU plays Michigan. I haven't taken them down in round 2. So we'll see what happens there. But LSU will be my Cinderella story to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
I have
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No, you can go with your Cinderella story. I'm trying to still think because I'm not saying Morehead State or West Virginia is my Cinderella story, but I was just gonna give like a hot take there because I know they're better than most think. They got a well-rounded offense right now. I'm just scared on the defensive side because I did watch a game. I feel like they're vulnerable more on the defensive end.
So my Cinderella story, same positioning as Justin. So I think Georgetown could make a run.
I have heard that they are probably gonna beat
Colorado. They played a pretty good season and they got a decent record. I think the way they're looking at it, if Michigan is gonna lose and someone is gonna take it, LSU's got a good team. I can definitely see that happening. But Georgetown has to face Colorado and then they have to face Florida State, which I think will be their toughest matchup besides the Elite Eight if they can get there. So I don't know. I think they have a good path to get there. I think they could get there. My big upset. I think so. If there's gonna be an upset in the round of 64, that's big. I'm talking big. Probably Morehead State, honestly. West Virginia is a good team, but
damn. All right.
That was gonna be my upset. That's gonna be my upset. I think I'm gonna agree with you.
Yeah, so that's my big upset. I think probably. I just think
after the way they played OSU in that tournament, I'm surprised you guys aren't high on WVU.
I just think they're I don't know. They played well in that game. I just think this is going to be a different tournament just because it's in one place. I think that's going to have a big factor for a lot of people. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But
I'm leaning to Morehead State. I was just looking at it too. So Cinderella story, I think I got it for someone else. But for upset, Justin's gonna disagree with me here. But Morehead State, Justin's gonna really disagree with me here because I've just been looking it up a little bit because these two, Morehead State will be one of mine. Higher up though, obviously, than this one. This one's gonna be a little bit of a stretch, but Abilene Christian beating out Texas.
All right.
Okay. Because I know they're the winner of the Big 12, and I know Texas is a well-rounded team. And I'm not saying that Texas is not going to do well, but I'm just looking, and Abilene is leading in assist-to-turnover ratio and ranking 7th in their scoring defense, only allowing 60.5 points to their opponents. Now, obviously, the difference in competition and their seasons and everything like that, obviously very different. But I just think that seems like a pretty well-disciplined team, well-coached team to have a very a leading in assist and turnover ratio that's huge. It seems on the defensive side for me that they could progress again, not offensively maybe, but I think it's definitely be a much closer game than maybe you've anticipated. That's just my hot take.
Yeah, no, and the one other thing I want to mention is because I'd be upset if I didn't say it on here, so I want it on the record is that UConn's a 7th seed this year. A lot of people are real high on UConn this year. I know, especially we're all from Boston, New England area.
UConn fan.
Yeah. So I want to be the guy that roots for them, but I'm not gonna be because they got Maryland in the first round, and I love this Maryland team. Eric Ayala. I've been watching Maryland in the tournament for a couple of years now. Eric Ayala is still the mainstay. They obviously had that year with Jalen Smith and Bruno Fernando, who are both in the NBA now. But Eric Ayala is still there. That guy's a bucket. I feel like he's going to go on a run, and I can see Maryland going on a tear as well. And I want it on the record in case they do.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't have Maryland.
I think Maryland could be the Cinderella story here on that 10 seed.
Yeah. But yeah, do you guys want to wrap up soon? What? We have time.
We can call it. We're 54 minutes.
I have one quick thing. I got one quick thing because I got two kind of. I mean, one. I obviously Justin bring up a good point. That Maryland team and UConn now made it. They've always had these up and down seasons. They haven't always made it. So many people I feel like that I know are all UConn fans, obviously because we're the area.
Yeah.
And Maryland is just they've had pretty consistent seasons. And I won't take your Cinderella team there, and I won't take Jerry's Georgetown. Now, I don't know where we're going to go on Cinderella teams, but personally, I'm going to go with a higher seeded team that I think most people are just going to look out, but Houston.
Yeah.
Is going to be my kind of Cinderella team because I know they're with Illinois in here and OSU, and I want OSU to move on. But I don't know. I just feel like if Houston got there and Illinois got knocked out, it could be a situation where the 2 seed went a little farther than anticipated right now. But they definitely do have pretty rough road because they'll have Syracuse or WVU if Justin is right on that one. So
yeah,
not going to be an easy one. This is definitely a tournament that's a little harder to predict here.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I agree.
It's gonna be interesting.
I agree.
What are we at?
56 minutes. So
all right, real
we
quick.
can wrap it up.
No, real quick. I need to show you boys my memes that I made. All right. So
Oh yeah, facts. Let's see this.
Celtics this season. Playoffs are an early off season. They're gonna take a nice thing right. All right. Sign another available QB or keep Cam Newton. We're gonna keep Cam.
I fucking love it.
Wow, Jerry got a nice hoolie laugh in there. These are really good.
Boston Red Sox, the Yankees.
I'm not happy about that at all, one bit.
I'm
LeBron,
not happy
I don't want
about
his
that
name
either.
associated with title town whatsoever.
Wait, what's this brain one down there, Jerry? I see a brain
All
one.
right. So we got KD and Kyrie, KD, Kyrie, and Harden, KD, Kyrie, Harden, and Blake Griffin. We're just gonna go crazy. So
Facts. I love those, man. Those are funny.
Can we start posting these memes on our page, Jerry?
yeah, I'll send it to Justin when we get on our page. But if you made it
Shout out
this
to you.
far,
Shout out to
you
you.
got to see the memes. So why don't you stay this far every time? Yeah.
Facts, man.
Yeah. Right.
There's always a little
All right.
special something at the end.
Exactly.
John will make some crazy joke or something. It's always
You're fine.
It'll always be something on edge that Jerry will have to edit out.
Exactly. So if you made it this far, as always, like and subscribe. Boys, it's been a great time talking to you today.
It's been a great time. Please, God, can the Celtics turn it around? But we'll leave it on that.
Oh, real. Yes.
All right,
On that
boys.
one.
Peace.
Peace.